Welcome to Brother Earl Ministry. I decided I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to tell a story. It's a true story that happened to me back in the 90 seconds over 30 years ago. I'm telling the story because for the first time I told the story to my relative a few months ago, and they told me I should have been told this story because it's encouragement for herself and for others. I meant in the early 90 seconds, I was hired to work for a non-profit organization part-time. I ended up working for the organization for 10 years, and the whole 10 years I worked part-time. I had a guaranteed shift of 24 hours work on weekends. The shift was 6 p.m. Saturday evening until 6 a.m. Sunday morning and 6 p.m. Sunday evening till 6 a.m. Monday morning. Well, by 6 a.m. Sunday morning shift, I was relieved by a female and white lady. She was a full-time colleague. After a few weeks, she began to become more personal with me, and she told me her biological clock was ticking and her mission in life from now on was to have a baby, but I have to be married first. Believe it or not, before the year was out she got married. After about 6 months, she relieved me one Sunday morning and was complaining that she wasn't pregnant yet. It has been 6 months and my husband has not produced a baby. I don't know what's wrong with him, so I suggested that she should give it a little more time, at least a year, to calm her down. So after about a few more months, she told me she set up an appointment for her and her husband to see a specialist to see what was wrong with him and to see how we can straighten him out. The next Sunday she was sad. She said it was me. I have the problem that my wound is too tight to have a baby. So all the following year she did everything a person can think of or heard of or seen. Endeavored things to make a person pregnant. She took pills, medication, shots, went on retreat, even Holtic suggestions. She spent hundreds of dollars that year, but nothing worked. So the next time she relieved me, the next Sunday, she told me her husband, and I decided that the only thing left to do was to have the operation. She decided she was going to have an operation, and she did. And whoever performed the operation, they blew the operation. They made it even worse, told her, now you would never have a baby again. So she was off work for about 3 or 4 months healing, and she sued whoever did the operation, and she won big money. So when she finally came back to work in about 3 or 4 months, the next time she relieved me that Sunday morning, she told me her and her husband made a decision to adopt, since there's no way she can have a baby now. They picked a pregnant woman, and I think they even had her living with them for a little bit. They nursed her until she had the baby. They took the baby directly from the hospital. It was a beautiful baby girl, but it was black mulatto baby, and the organization that we were working for fired her. I couldn't believe it. No one could believe it because the organization we were working for stood up for social justice. But there was somewhere in our contract where you couldn't adopt a racial child. So she was off work for another 5 months, and she sued the organization and won for big money, and she also sued for her job back and won her job back. When she came back to work, she would sometimes bring her daughter with her. So after about 2 or 3 years, she was relieving me one Sunday morning when she said, "Brother Earl, the Lord told me if you put your hands on my stomach and pray for me, I will become pregnant." I like to fall out of my chair. I asked her to repeat what she just told me. She said again, "The Lord told me if you put your hands on my stomach and pray for me, I will become pregnant." At first I didn't have a clue what the Lord told her. But I just received my clergy license, so the Lord must have something for me to do, and I must be obedient to His word. I went over to her place with my hands on her stomach, and I raised my other hands up towards the Lord and said these words, "Lord, do thou will, and thou will be done." And I told her that it's done. She said, "Is that it?" I said, "Yes, that's it. All the Lord gave me. The Lord planted the seed. Now it's up to your faith to believe." Before the week can end, my coworkers call me at my home for the first time with excitement to inform me she was pregnant. I said to her, "That's wonderful. But I watched you go through all of that, through the pills, the operation, adoption, the firing. I watched you go through all of that, all those many years, and all you had to do was to ask God." 9 months later, she had a beautiful redhead baby boy. My point today is to ask God sometimes. My mother taught me when I was young about Matthew 27, yet read, "Ask, and it should be given. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will open." I live by that verse all my life. I have found all 3 works, Amethan.
Join me, Brother Earl, June 6th, praying for world peace with brotherly love.